It's one of the worst feelings in the world. When you're talking to a girl and it feels like things are going well, they're progressing, but then out of nowhere she loses interest. Like she was texting you back, maybe you guys went on a couple dates, but then slowly but surely you see her start to fade out of your life. However, with that being said, okay, this is a canon event that every single guy has to go through at some point. So if you're feeling down right now, you're feeling out, you're feeling quite sad, just know that you just got to get back up on your horse, learn from it, move on, and everything will be better. So don't beat yourself up. Because what I've noticed truly separates guys who do well with dating from guys who just kind of stay stuck in the same cycles of talking to a girl, getting rejected, and having that same process go over again, is the guys who do well, they learn from their mistakes, okay? They don't repeat the same ones over and over again. They don't see them walk in a fucking pothole and fall off a cliff and then do the same shit again. So make sure you learn from your mistakes, you don't make the same ones again, and you stay till the end of the video so you don't have to ever really worry about this again. So the first reason why she lost interest was because you started acting needy. Now you're probably saying, okay, well, what does it mean to act needy? Like, what does this mean? Well, you've seen in all of the Disney movies and all like the bullshit Hollywood that, oh yeah, the way to get a girl to like you back is to buy her flowers and tell her how much you like her and confess your feelings. The problem is that shit doesn't work in real life, because if it was working, well, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. And I don't say that to make fun of you, because I've made the same mistake a lot. But the point is that, like, while all that stuff, it makes for a good story, you know, pursuing the girl and chasing after her and telling her how much you like her and confessing your love, while it makes for a good story, it's just not realistic of what women are actually attracted to. Like if you want to see a movie that actually depicts what it's like to be successful with women as a man, go watch James Bond. That's the one movie that actually does a good job. So why is being needy unattractive? Well, first of all, it just shows that you're over invested into the relationship. You care about her so much more than she actually cares about you. And the reason why it's unattractive is because a lot of guys think that, yeah, if I do all these things and I tell her how much I like her and I blow up her phone and, you know, I just show her that I care more than everybody else, then she'll fall in love with me. The problem with this is that falling in love, it takes time, okay? It's not something that you can just force. But when you're trying to force it, when you're trying to, you know, make something that's not there, build a connection that hasn't actually formed yet, it comes across as very fake, right? It comes across as very inauthentic, because a lot of guys, like, when they say, oh my gosh, this girl's so amazing, she might be the one for me, you don't actually know that yet. She hasn't actually proven that to you yet. You're just saying that because you're in this scarcity mindset, because, you know, maybe she's the first girl in a little while who's shown you a little bit of attention. So what you got to do instead is you got to keep your investment quite low in the start. Now, I'm not saying to be a dick. I'm not saying to be an asshole. I'm not saying to not show her that you care. No, you still show her that you care, but you do it through your actions, right? You don't tell her, oh my God, I love you so much and I want to make you my girlfriend. No, you just take her out on fun dates. You have a good time. And you just kind of take things as they go. And the funny thing is, when you're not so invested, like when you don't care so much and you're just present in the moment, that's when you'll actually get the girl. Not when you try super hard and you invest a ton. It's also just like not very masculine, right? To be a guy who's just chasing women all the time. Because the fact of the matter is that women want a man who is going after his purpose, who has goals in life, who has ambitions. And if the most exciting thing you have going on is this girl who you're talking to, and she can see that, she can see like, okay, you know, he always responds to the messages super quick, like he doesn't really do anything, he doesn't really have any ambitions, that's not going to be very attractive. I mean, think about like the most popular guy in your school who all the women want, right? It's typically the guy who is the quarterback of the football team, the guy who has a really good social circle, the guy who is in good shape, right? He has some sort of like status that makes him more attractive to women. So, and when you make women the center of your life, you make the girl the focus of your life. Now all of a sudden, she's at the focus of your life, not your mission and purpose. And now you're saying, okay, well now I know what it means to be needy, but how do I actually stop being needy and be more attractive? Well, the first thing that I really had to focus on, that I used to struggle with a lot, is what I call focus on the journey, not the destination. See, a lot of times when we go on dates as a guy, you know, we'll be saying, oh, you know, I hope that I can win this girl over so I can make her my girlfriend and maybe, get the second date and, maybe if the date goes well, I'll go for the kiss. And it's like, no, stop worrying about all that shit. Because when you're running through all these different scenarios in your head and you're thinking, oh, I gotta go for the kiss. Oh, I gotta get in the second date. Oh, I gotta make her my girlfriend. Now you're gonna get nervous because you've built up this fantasy in your head. The problem is that fantasy isn't real yet. So you're chasing after something that doesn't even exist. So instead of doing that, if you want to be more confident, you want to be more calm, you want to be more centered, just be present in the moment. Like when you're on the date, don't be overthinking every little thing you say and don't be saying, oh, I have to win her over. Just focus on asking good, high quality questions, having a good conversation, and also just have some freaking fun. You know what I mean? Like, don't go do a date that is gonna stress you out a ton. Don't go do some boring ass shit. Like, go do something that you're gonna have a good time with because you'll be in a better headspace. Because a lot of guys, they get super stressed out about dating, right? Like, oh my God, it has to go well, or I'm gonna be crushed. But what's the point of even going on a date if you're not gonna have fun? Like that's the whole point of relationships. That's the whole point of hanging out with people, is having a good time. So instead of focusing on the relationship and trying to win the girl over, just be present in the moment and focus on having a good time. And that version of you will be so much more attractive because you're relaxed, you're fun, you're easygoing, and you're actually engaging in conversation compared to that version of you who just overthinks a ton. The next thing you gotta do, okay, is you gotta keep your options open. So many guys, when they start talking to a girl, they'll go on a date, they'll go on 2 dates, and then they'll stop talking to every other girl. They'll delete all the dating apps. They'll stop, approaching other women. But the problem with this is that when you make one girl the focus and you only are so focused on her before you're in a relationship, of course, now all your eggs are in one basket, right? If things don't work out with this one girl, now you have no other options. You have nobody else that you're talking to. So that causes you to get in so much more of a scarcity mindset, which is why, like, you should always be approaching new women. You shouldn't stop using the apps just because you had 1 or 2 good dates. Now, am I saying to cheat on your girlfriend? Am I saying to, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is don't cut off all your options before she's actually earned that from you, before you've actually had the conversation of like, okay, we're getting more serious now, we're only seeing each other. Until you get to that point, do not remove all your options, because that way you'll just go about your dating life in such a more relaxed way, right? Because it's like, okay, if this one girl rejects me, if she doesn't like me, if she doesn't want to be with me, like, it's really no big deal because I have other women that I'm talking to. I have other people that I'm seeing. So yeah, you got to keep your options open and don't just cut them all off because you had 1 or 2 good dates. And lastly, bro, just have some ambition. Like, if I've noticed the one thing that separates guys who do well with their dating life versus guys who don't, it all just comes down to being a guy that you're proud of. The guys who don't do very well, they have low self-esteem. They don't have much confidence. They don't have much going on. They just like sit around and play video games and distract themselves and don't really do anything productive. Whereas the guys who do well with dating, they're focused on being their best selves. They're living an attractive lifestyle. They have goals, they have ambitions, because there's something about a guy who has his life together, who has shit that he's doing, who has that fire in his eyes that he's wanting to become more, that he's wanting to build something great. And when women see that, they can't help but want to be with a guy like that. So if you take away only one thing from this video, just focus on becoming the man that you are proud of, on developing yourself into that guy. And it's just a day-by-day process. You don't have to be perfect right away, but just focus on getting a little bit better, knowing what you want in life, and fucking going after it. And if this sounds like something that you want help with, getting started on your journey, becoming that best version of yourself, go check the top link in the description and book a free call with me and we'll get you started on your journey. But if not, no worries. I hope you found the video helped you out. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video, bro.